Hi guys. So I don't have a hair tutorial today because I do want to take a minute to talk about what happened last night. I feel like it's very important. And it's also something that really has resonated with me, and I wanted to get people's thoughts and as well as people's feelings, because right now we all need a space where we can just vent and just kind of talk about what just happened and process the feelings, the thoughts. It's like everything that was brought up with the results of last night. Now, yesterday I had the honor and the pleasure of sitting in the audience for the BET News Battlefield. They were doing the coverage of the presidential election, and it was a live show, and we were receiving the results in live. I watched as the giant map, turned red and red and more red as the time progressed, and I just was sitting in the audience with so much anxiety and just, trying to listen to all the powerful people that were speaking at the show, and just trying to take in all the knowledge and kind of formulate my own thoughts, but at the same time process that Donald Trump was going to be president of the United States by the end of the night. And it's not even the person, I would say, it's more the idea of what the United States voted for. We voted for sexism, racism. We voted for rape culture. We voted for it's okay to dislike people of different religion, different backgrounds. And it's just moving forward, what kind of country are we going to be? What kind of country are we going to become with a president with those ideals and values? Not only that, but we have the US Senate, who has completely become Republican for this term, as well as the House. And this hasn't happened in the United States in a very long time. So here is the fear of our government. There's supposed to be a check and a balance with the executive powers, and now it's like, will there be checks and balance? Like, do I have to fear for my life as an Afro-Latina? I'm a teacher, and I just been thinking about how to explain this to my students, how to let them know that we live in a country that it's okay to hate people based on their color of their skin. We work so hard to be progressive and tell our kids, that they have to work harder, they have to try harder, education matters. And today in this election, it was just proven to us that it doesn't matter. And it's as a teacher of the youth, of high school students, it really, I'm internally fighting with myself, and I'm internally feeling at a loss for words on how do I explain this to them? How do I make them feel that it's okay? How do I make them feel that they're safe to live in this country if I myself don't feel that way? And I've thought about this as I was sitting in the show. These thoughts are processing through my head, and it's we really need to think about the youth, and we need to think about the generation that's coming after us, and what are we leaving behind for them? We were just shown today that it doesn't matter the education that you have. It doesn't matter how hard you try. It doesn't matter how much experience you have as a female in the United States of America. You will always be number two to a male, specifically a white male. Look at the experiences. Hillary Clinton was not the number one candidate. She was not perfect. Of that, we all know. But at the end of the day, she was more qualified for the position. And this is something that all females have to go through, and to see it play out in the television, to see it play out as a country, that we would much rather vote for someone who stands for racism, someone who stands for sexism, someone who stands for rape culture, someone who's against women's reproductive rights. We would much rather vote for something like that than a female president. And at the end of the day, we as people of color need to honestly wake up. be woke. If you were not awake before, this is the time. Like, we need to, as a people, we understand that those values are not okay. You know, we are the United States of America, and yes, we were built on the backs of slaves. You know, we were built robbing Native Americans of their land, of their people. So like, our country wasn't even built on positive values, and it's like every time we make one step forward, we take a few back, and right now we have taken a few back. And I think, just as a female of color living in the United States and just watching that map just completely turn red, to me, it was very disappointing to know that I guess we haven't really moved forward. And to make America great again, for who? For what? It's not for women. We're not making America great for people of color. So what does it really mean to make America great again? And do people of color, do women, have a place in America moving forward? I honestly am lost for words, and I have so many thoughts and so many ideas that are running through my head, and so much emotions, and like trying right now to contain myself and be able to make this video about how I'm feeling about this election. It's very hard for me. I'm a very emotional person, but at the end of the day, we do have to be rational and understand that what happened last night happened, and now we have to think about what are we going to do moving forward as a people, united in the United States of America. And you can agree to disagree with me. That's more than correct. You know, politics is politics. But I do want to say that I have never, in the time that I have been actively involved or like actively aware of government and just like president and the House and the Senate, I just have never felt so unsafe, underrepresented the way I do now. And I am so sorry that as a female, we have not moved forward. As women, we have not moved forward. And it's very disheartening, especially knowing how hard I work, especially knowing how hard other females work, to know that we will always be number two. And no matter how hard you try, there will sometimes be a man who is less qualified, and he will be the one who gets the position that you've been dreaming for. And it's not about Hillary being the best candidate. It's about what our country represents and how we can move forward. How can we? How will we? This is our time as the young generation, you know, the technological generation, to really, really look within ourselves and think about what's the legacy that you want to leave behind. And if you haven't thought about that, I need you to desperately think about that. What is your legacy? What are you trying to do? What kind of world, what kind of country do you want to leave for the future generation? It's no longer about us. We've passed that. Nobody cares about us. We have to care about ourselves. And it's our time right now to think about the future. So if we are, quote unquote, making America great again, I just want you to think about, if you are a person of color, if you are a woman, you have family that's an immigrant, if you yourself are an immigrant, if you are Muslim, if you are anything that's not white, is America going to be great for you? And what are you going to do to make sure America is? So like I said, If you have any comments, concerns, questions, please, please, please drop them in the comment box. I would love to hear what people think. And I just feel like moving forward, we need to be rational, and we need to be very strategic about the things that we do. Just because this country's not made for us.